everyone, my name's Grant and welcome to the Software and Technology Focus session. So for those who are unfamiliar, as I'm the Partnerships Director here at Prosper, and for those who are unfamiliar with Prosper, we power dozens of career directories across the country, including gradaustralia.com.au, which you may be very familiar with. So before I introduce today's panel, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. I would also like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. So for today's panel session, we've actually got a bit of an all-star cast dialed in and on the line. So I've got Bianca Knight, a program consultant from MyOp, Raymond Smith, who's a software development manager at Amazon, Van Santos, University Programs Coordinator at Canva, and last but not least, Alex Ryan, Talent Partner at REA Group. So before I introduce the panel, or hand across to the panel rather, to get them to share a bit about their background, their role and their company and the types of opportunities they offer to students. Just a quick reminder to actually drop questions in the chat as we go. And we'll try and, so I've got some pre-listed questions initially that we'll roll through, but yeah, very keen to hand the mic per se across to students as well, and we'll try and get some of your questions answered as well. So I might kick things off with Bianca. Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience? Nice to have you on.
Amazing, thanks Grant, and hello to all the students who are on the call today. Really excited to be a part of this panel discussion. As Grant mentioned, my name is Bianca and I am the program consultant here at MYOB for our program called the Future Makers Academy. It's our graduate program. We don't call it a graduate program because it is very much having a diverse group of people coming in, and it's not always graduates who are completing a computer science degree. And the like, we don't call our graduate developers graduates, we call them protege developers, to make sure it's a really inclusive program and an inclusive role for all of those who are entering in. So at MYOB, we are building a business management platform. It's very well familiar to a lot of people around building an accounting software, but we're much more than accounting software these days, and we're definitely, on this roadmap to building an amazing business platform for our customers.
Amazing, great to have you on the line, and we'll get into some more of the opportunities for the protege alum as well. Raymond, I'll hand the mic across to you. Welcome.
Thanks. So my name's Raymond. I'm a software development manager at Amazon, working in the grocery business that we run across the world. From the Brisbane office, we manage all of the software that supports our pickup business. So that's like click and collect, like you might have at Coles. As a whole in Australia, Amazon is hiring all sorts of technologists. So in Brisbane, my team is primarily looking for software engineers of all levels of experience, but particularly grads at the moment. And across the company, everything, network engineers, people working inside the data centers, people working as IT infrastructure people in the physical warehouses, yeah, the whole gamut. So that's us.
Awesome, great to have you on the line. Alex, I might hand to you next.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex. I'm a talent partner here at REA Group, but one of my favorite parts of my job is I actually get to hire grads as well. So day to day, I'm hiring all of our software engineers, but come this time of year, I'm also hiring our grads. So in terms of what we have on, good timing, because our applications for our grad program actually close this Sunday evening. So we are looking for 10 graduate software development software engineers. So yes, if you want to get your application in, now is the time. In terms of who we are, I think the long and short of it is, to make things most simple, is that we're known for realestate.com.au. But we are a lot more than just that. So we have things like Real Commercial, One Form, Flatmates. We have a mortgage brokering business called Smartline. So once you get here, you realize that yes, we're realestate.com.au, but we also offer a whole lot more and a huge amount of opportunity in our tech space.
Amazing. Can't wait to learn a little bit more about it as well, Alex. And Van, do you want to introduce yourself to the audience quickly?
Sure. Hey, everyone. I'm Van. So happy to be here. I am the grad recruiter at Canva. So for those who don't know, Canva is a one-stop shop online design tool, very simply put, but it's so much more than that. We are hiring early talent all year long, but sometimes it does slow down during intern hiring season, which is right now. So if you haven't heard back from me yet, don't worry, I'm about to respond back really soon. But yeah, I'm happy to answer questions and learn from my fellow panelists today. Very exciting. Thank you.
I'm sure you're getting a lot of applications flying through as well, so difficult to manage them all. Awesome. So as I said, I highly encourage all the students online. I can see that there's hundreds online at the moment. Please pop your questions into the chat and we'll address it at the end, but I've got a few questions initially to roll through. So I might, for the first one, I might actually turn back to Bianca if you'd like to kickstart us. With what's the most important, I guess, piece of advice that you give to students aspiring to work at MyOb?
Awesome. Thanks, Grant. So for those who are wanting to start their career as a software developer, I have to say the program at MYOB is a great place to begin. What I would recommend for anyone who's wanting to join MYOB as a protege developer, definitely do your research and get to know MYOB a little bit further. Learn about what we do as a business, our customers, who they are, but also learn more about the program. The Future Makers Academy is quite different to a lot of other graduate programs out there. It is really about an opportunity to come and learn. And we will be talking in our booth later today about the theory around learning at your own pace. So it's an amazing opportunity to come and master your craft of software development. We really do put a big focus on understanding all those fundamentals before you get into even rotations and team rotations in MYOB. So my advice is definitely learn more about the program, learn more if it's going to be the right program for you and your development. And a big one that is definitely a go-to of mine and something that is really daunting for even myself to do, but any students to do as well, reach out to people who work in the organization. So we have so many protege developers you can reach out to on LinkedIn. They're all super lovely and they're super helpful, and they would love to offer any advice that you do have. That way you're really going to get to know more about what it's like to work in the organization and also what the program's about as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure through those conversations as well, they can start to begin to better understand what they'd actually be doing on the job as a protege as well, which sort of helps students form a better quality application as well moving forward. Raymond, yeah, if I can pass across to you for this, what does Amazon look for when students are applying for jobs? You know, I know that there's a various amount of opportunities on offer at the moment. Do you want to talk a little bit further to that?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the software engineering jobs, obviously we're looking for, you know, your technical competence. So that's obviously something that's, you know, at the forefront of our mind. But more importantly, we're really looking for what sort of behaviors do you display. So Amazon has a notion of leadership principles, which try to summarize our company culture. And so we're very interested to see, you know, how do you match up to that? So we have a concept of the bar. We're constantly trying to raise the performance level of the people in our organization. So we have a rule that if we're bringing you in, we think you are as good as or better than half of the people that are already working for us in a graduate position, which, you know, can seem a bit daunting. but there's a lot of support for you. So when you come into the process, you get given a big information pack that tells you, sort of all the sorts of things. And we're really looking for an understanding of kind of your life experience so far, I guess. We know you're a graduate. We know that you haven't been out there necessarily. Maybe you have been out there solving like big, huge business problems, but you've probably been dealing with a lot of real things in your own life, whether that's managing your studies or managing your job or how you deal with your family commitments or other social commitments. So we're really interested in how do you think, how do you act to learn and to get stuff done.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Van, I might hand it over to you. Is there any gold nuggets you can provide to students when they're applying for jobs at Canva?
Absolutely. Make sure to check out the Canva Grad Australia page. That should be a really excellent place to start. We have a bunch of articles on there, day in the life articles. So you're hearing straight from the grads themselves. You also want to, like Bianca said, totally reach out to employees who are in Canva if you want a more like personal approach. And on the tech side of things, I highly recommend, and maybe Raymond can support me on this, master writing code in the core languages first, before attempting to use libraries and frameworks. Because in Canva, it's very important to understand the intricacies of the programming languages and learning how they work under the hood is what I've been told. So yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Van. Alex, if I could throw it to you, what does REA Group look for in an application? And if you can even extend on that, what do students need to show in order to progress to the next round of recruitment? So once they've actually got their application in.
Yeah, great question. So I think everyone here has highlighted some really important things that would be relevant to any of our organizations. I think for us as well, and I could see little questions coming through. There's a lot of questions about skills and, how much experience do you or don't you need? I think what makes our program interesting is that I don't look at transcripts. I don't look at prior experience. We're a grad program, so we don't necessarily want you to have experience. If you've done internships or part-time work through uni, or you've done a boot camp, that's the sort of experience we're looking for. We're not looking for you to demonstrate mastery of languages or a million projects under your belt. The whole point of our program is for you to learn. So we want you to come here and be a sponge. Obviously, you need to be passionate about software development and engineering. It's what the program is. It's what you're going to be trained for over the 12-month program. But it really is your chance to kind of start fresh, become part of a family, part of a community. In terms of, how do you succeed through our process once you apply? We're an incredibly values-driven business. So just building on what I just said, because we're not looking for your technical skills, we're really looking for how you show up in your application. And I think the best way to do that is we do have an interview or video interview portion of our process, which is sort of the second stage. We're looking for real passion and drive. We want you to come across as being genuinely interested in not just getting a grad position, but working for us, working for REA, becoming a part of our grad family, our overall REA family. We're looking for someone with enthusiasm, with a learning mindset, someone who can be resilient, who deals with ambiguity well. Obviously, we've just been through COVID where we've had to be flexible and pivot and work in ways that we never thought we'd have to. So we're looking for that sort of flexibility as well. REA is a very, very fast-paced and dynamic environment. So people who are comfortable, with things changing quite quickly, you might be doing something one day and the next day it's completely shifted or you have to learn something new. So we're looking for people who demonstrate sort of that mindset and those behaviors and who are really clear values fit for us rather than, being a pure technical fit, because those are things that we teach. That's the whole point of the program.
And I think you're right. Like the advice that you're all hearing on this call today in this session is probably transferable to a lot of organizations. And what might change is like what you shared, actually what the whole panel shared so far is It's just about doing your research and finding your passion, your fit, and not just applying for every company just for the sake of it, but trying to find the role and the company that's a really good fit for you. Really well said, Alex. And Bianca, if you can just talk a little bit so let's fast forward maybe 12 months for students who land a job with MyOb and now they're a protege. Can you give some advice for students to survive and thrive per se in their first year of being in a position at MyOb?
Yeah,
and by the way, it's MYOB. I've been told that before, so I do apologise. I will try and cut that out.
No worries at all. And do you know what it stands for, Grant?
Mind your own business, I believe. Yeah.
Awesome. So I think the biggest thing for our proteges and those who I see in the business as what we would classify as high performers are really those individuals who come in with this with a mindset of really taking up every opportunity. You, as Alex and also Van and also Raymond have mentioned, like this graduate roles for individuals is a period of time where you get to continue your learning and you really get to absorb that learning as well. And when I've seen people who have really thrived in this space, it's when they really take every opportunity. So for us, it's not about speed. It's not about how quickly you get from A to B. It's about that learning and those opportunities that you really do take on. It's about building relationships with not just your cohort and the people around you, but it's about building relationships with different hiring managers, so different development managers and engineering managers in the business. It's about building relationships with our developers as well. You know, the more people who can advocate for you as an individual, then your prospects of that associate role, which is that next career progression, you're going to have more opportunities with the more that you learn. And also just having an opportunity to go and learn more about the business, learn more about our customers, and really kind of dive in really deep into the organisation.
Amazing advice. Does anyone have anything to add to that in terms of tips and tricks for grads to survive and thrive in the first year?
The most powerful tool that you have is feedback. So you need to often and regularly go out and ask people, and not just your immediate manager, but just ask people how you're doing, or if you do a thing, so for example, you're going to have a lot of code reviews of your code or designs or things that you do, right? And you can treat them as being a gate, as like something you have to push through or jump over, but you shouldn't do that. You should see that as an opportunity to learn more about how you're doing based on all of this experience of the people in your organization. Like all of these organizations have a bunch of talented people who, and this might be a little bit of a disappointment for you, but you're not the first person to be a graduate software engineer. Everyone in that company has been a graduate software engineer before. They know what it is to be anxious, that there's all this information and you don't know, and maybe you're not good enough and all these sorts of things. Everyone's done that. You can talk to them and get feedback, and then really use that to chart the course that you're going to take your career. Like, where do you need to grow? What are your strengths? What can you, double down on? And that sort of thing. And I'm sorry, I cut someone off. I was very rude. I'm sorry.
No worries. I was just going to say exactly what you just said. Getting feedback is very, very important at a graduate level. But since I already said it, I just want to follow that up with, don't be afraid to give feedback back to your mentors. Grads often think that because they're new or because they're junior, they're only meant to receive feedback. But it's also important for you to let your mentors know about their methods that are working and not working, because it can only help you in the long run. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, 100% fan. As a manager, I really value the reverse feedback, if you like.
Yeah, and I just wanted to build on both of those points. Feedback is hugely important, and I think something that ties into that is overall initiative. We aren't handing you opportunities. We aren't waiting for you to tell us what you want to do in your program. Yes, you have, at least in our case, 3 different rotations, but if there's something that you really want to learn, or let's say you just have a huge passion for mobile, you want to try it out, we won't know that unless you tell us. So it very much is self-directed learning. Yes, you're a grad. Yes, you have some structures in place around you, but you're not going to get the most out of your program if you aren't taking the initiative to ask for feedback, to give feedback, and to tell us what it is that you want to learn and what to do. So that's really important to remember as well.
Yeah, and just adding to that as well, a word that I frequently can hear sometimes. Oh, sorry, my lights have just gone off and I'll fix it in a second. But a word that I frequently hear is when someone says, I'm just a graduate or I'm just a protege. Never use that, because you're not just, you are that role. And without you, the whole ecosystem wouldn't work. So own your role, and as Alex said, really drive your own learning and understand where you want to go with your career and speak up and talk about it.
Awesome advice. I'll let you run and get that light, Bianca. And in one final sentence per se, or a quick paragraph, before we turn to a lot of questions that are piling up in the chat, which I'm sure you're all eager to get to as well. Just in one sentence, can you all share a little bit about why students should apply at your various companies? As I said at the start, there's a bit of an all-star cast. We've got some very big and top employers online. Van, maybe if I can throw to you first. Why should students consider applying to Canva?
Grads should come into Canva because it's an excellent time to join right now. We're at that exact right size where it's not a one-year-old startup anymore, but at the same time we have the structure. It still feels very startup-y in a way, but and we also have like the mentoring capacity to ensure your success, but it's not too large. You still get to see the impact and the value that you're contributing. So, and the perks are really good too. So there's that. You can bring puppies to work.
That's a good perk. I like that. Raymond, what about you?
So normally you have to choose between the sort of autonomy that you get at a startup, where you and your team can basically set your own course, and the resources of a corporation. And I think the thing that Amazon still does, even after 20 years, is we really let you do both of those things. So it's a huge corporation with massive resources, but every team is autonomous, sets its own direction. I think you will have a lot of fun here, changing the world.
Nice. Alex, what about you? Why should grads apply and be keen to work at REA Group?
It sounds really basic, but my favorite part about working for REA is the people. So, I mean, we have an amazing group of people. There's very, very talented people here. It's a real family, the grad program, I'd say. It's quite tight knit. We've only been hiring 10 a year. So you are part of something quite special and quite unique. Self-directed learning. There's a guaranteed job at the end of the year, of your year program. So you are guaranteed to have a position aligning with your goals and your interests as an engineer. And you get to be a part of, a great Australian success story, one of the most highly trafficked websites in Australia, working on some pretty cool stuff, a massively varied tech stack. And you do also get to bring dogs to work here, which is good.
I was going to say, I do believe that you've got to bring your dog to work day, and also the coffee is very, very good at REA, I can attest.
Yes,
being from Melbourne, that's close to my heart. Bianca, also being from Melbourne, why should grads come and work at MYOB? MYOB, apologies again.
No, all good, all
awesome
good.
habit.
Well, definitely, at MYOB, the program I've spoken about, it is really about learning at your own pace. And the theory behind learning at your own pace, it really enables those individuals to really be able to take that learning opportunity and not feel that pressure. We really break down the walls of, it's not about where you are, it's about your own journey and focusing on your own journey. It's not just about coding. We do have a huge focus on your technical capabilities, but we also really focus on those other skills, and I don't want to use the word soft skills because I don't like that word, so I'm going to use the word power skills. We have a huge focus on uplifting those types of skills as well. MYB, at the end of the day, we're an Australian New Zealand business. We are here to help businesses start, survive and succeed. So if that is interesting to you and you want to learn more about our customers and how you can help them, then I definitely think that MYB will be a great opportunity for you to start your career.
Amazing. So let's dive into the student questions because there's quite a few. So I will try and triage from here. And Raymond, thanks for jumping on as well and answering some questions as well. There's a few questions coming through in terms of how students, I think this is just a general theme in the questions, how students can stand out and find their passion. Can anyone speak to that?
I think look around widely. So don't keep yourself in a little technical box. Like, yes, we're all technology and software here, but actually the thing you're going to discover when you enter this industry is that the whole thing is about people. There is nothing that we do in software that isn't motivated by a person somewhere, even if that's just yourself really, really enjoying doing a clever thing with tech. It's always about a person and their needs. So read widely, like go and find out what's out there. Maybe you discover that you really want to do something with telehealth or something because that's interesting to you, and maybe that leads you to a completely different set of companies to the ones that are trying to showcase themselves to you today. But that would be my advice. Like, go and learn about people and about what's in the world and what are their problems, what are the things that you can be solving and be part of the solution.
I like that. Another question from the audience, this is from Anonymous. How important are technical skills in the application process and showcasing them? Who would like to tackle that? Alex?
Well, yeah, I'll start with us. Like I said earlier, not. As long as you have a relevant degree and you want to learn, and this is sort of the career path you want to go down, like Raymond said, we're not asking you to put yourself in a box. Technically speaking, you should come here with an open mind. Like, for example, we have a guy who just graduated from our grad program this year. He went in thinking he wanted to do front-end development. He was stuck on that. He's now a mobile dev. So keep an open mind. Those technical skills, we really don't assess them until the very last stage of our process. And it's a 1-hour interview where you're given a technical problem to solve, and it has nothing to do with coding. So for us personally, we're not going to assess your coding skills. We're really going to assess sort of more of your problem solving and general sort of engineering understanding skills.
Awesome. Does anyone else want to add to that, or?
I can go.
Yep.
So in Canva, we do test for technical skills. The second and final interviews are coding, but we are in no means looking for an expert. We're looking for solid computer science fundamentals, and has to be that it isn't your first time seeing the language that you're applying for, or the language of the role that you're applying for. But there's the basics, and then the rest we can teach you, is I think what we do. Yeah. Cool.
Amazing. I like it. I saw a question in the chat for you, Bianca. When do applications for MyOb open?
They are opening very soon. We will be launching our campaign on the 19th of April, which is very, very soon. However, if you are interested to learn a little bit more around what it's like in working at MYOB, we have just launched our virtual experience on the Grad Australia and Grad New Zealand site. So definitely jump in and complete that and have a go. It really gives you an idea of what it really would be like working at MYOB as a protege developer.
Well put. This is a question probably that all of you can dive in and answer. will all available jobs be about like just solely programming at your organisations?
Our graduate roles at MYOB, yeah, we're just hiring software developers for the grad roles.
Yeah, we're the same, and I'll just point out, because I've received a lot of applications, and I think I saw a question earlier. We did used to have a data science stream for our graduate program. For the past 2 years, we have not. So just making it clear that this is a software development and engineering role. Yes, you could potentially have a rotation within a team that's in our data space. But if data is your real passion, and being a data scientist, data analyst, that sort of thing might not be completely suited, because this is, yes, very much focused on sort of mobile and web development, if you will.
Nice.
Same with Canva, so it's mostly software engineering in the grad space, but we are opening up internships for data science and data analytics and UX, UI, UX. With the should the results of the internship be really, really good, we then convert them to grads, but not like from grads directly.
Yeah, so
Raymond?
So we're sort of widely distributed at Amazon. So for my part of it, it's the same as everyone here, where we're looking for software engineers in internship and graduate roles. Within Australia, I think that would also mostly be true, although there may be some things in networking and security. If you look at amazon.jobs and search there, that's sort of the local opportunities, I guess. And it's probably worthwhile pointing out for Amazon that we don't do graduate or intern positions for international transfers, but that is something that, were you to join Amazon as a graduate and stay on and be promoted and sort of get to the next level, then it would potentially open up those opportunities overseas. But yeah, for our local area, it's all software.
Awesome. Well, I can see we're unfortunately out of time today for this session.